Hello everybody, it's Theo here from Fair Gaming, bringing you another BellWright video. Today we are talking about the most recent update here for July. So even though it's winter in my game, it is the July hot update. So first things first, let's just start and jump right into it. They have added an improvement to the performance of the game. So they have added in FSR upscaling with frame generation available on almost all the GPUs. They also added in a separate NVIDIA reflex setting, so an ability to enable boost. And they have made a couple other performance and visual quality updates, and also another auto detective graphic settings for upscaling for new players. So that's great. So it's just going to give us way better performance for the game for everybody. And now let's jump into some actual improvements they made for the actual gameplay. So let's go. For bandits and brigands, so they had added in the ability of migration. So if you had cleared out the entire map like I had done, eventually the bandits would come back and have very sporadic camps in the more difficult section. They would never spawn in the top part, but they would spawn in the bottom. They have actually added in an option to disable this if you don't want the bandits to come back. So here there is just a checkbox where bandit migration enabled. You would just uncheck that, and then that would put an end to that. They have also added in that we're going to gain trust towards the villages for defending them against reclamation parties, so we don't have to always go and build village improvements there to gain the trust levels. They've also postponed reclamation parties to the next day if we are going to be hit by a big raid on the same day. They did not specify what a big raid would be, but my theory would be that it probably needs to be above 10, but that's just a theory. They've also made raid points not get added to other settlements if there is a raid already expected. So what that means is, like, for example, if we're being raided in our main settlement, please don't kill us. The additional settlements that we have will not start ticking away. So then, for example, in my ambush 2 settlement here that is almost at max, it would not make any progress towards an additional raid for that day until after we had completed with the raid, and then the following day then it would resume again. For our followers, they have also made some changes. So they have, of course, added the tool slot in the previous one. So they were still unequipping the weapon when they were done their job. So now they've made it so that the equipped item will stay in the slot even after they finish the job, so long as it makes sense. So that would be axes for people who are doing lumber, bows for hunters and their quivers and such. They would stay equipped, so they don't always go put them back in, and then they have to go walk back and get them. So it just will help increase some productivity there. They have also buffed the skills of hireable NPCs from the Follow Mercenary, Burning Stove, and Bloody Prisoner quests. So that would be like when you free the butcher, or when you free the prisoners that were in the cages. They were not. They had like not great armor and weapons and that sort of thing. So they're giving us that. So that is going to be great. And for the butcher, the skill set of the actual people that you could hire was actually kind of lackluster, so I don't think I actually hired any of them. So they've improved their skills as well to make it more enticing, which is good to see. They've also made some other improvements for some villagers. So there was a thing where there were submarine wolves. So if you've ever seen like bandits and brigands, when they cross the water, they can go underneath the water and kind of cross. Wolves were doing the same thing, and then hunters would just sit there and try to shoot at them and waste all your ammunition. So they have made it where they will skip that as well. Also, when talking about hunters, you can now add the bow into a tool slot for them, so that is going to be awesome as well. And they've also made it when you're doing your stock up for the staging ground, your companions will favor actually grabbing weapons instead of grabbing tools. The amount of time that my followers were grabbing carpenter hammers instead of actually war hammers was kind of hilarious in a way. They've also made it where companions will try not to take equipment and food that does not fit into their inventory, and then thus just having it fall on the ground. And also, talking about the stock up, they have made it where companions will go to the arrow basket, if you have one, or for arrows in general, and if they had, like, let's say 11 arrows, they will stock it up to 30 arrows rather than just leaving with the 11. Another thing that they added, which was really cool, is this durability slider, so that if there were weapons that were almost broken, you could make this slider and then they would go replace a weapon that was under this durability, because the amount of times where they would take up a weapon that had 10% durability, then it would break immediately into a fight and then they'd be weaponless, was kind of frustrating. So this is awesome. This will definitely help us out when we are utilizing our army. They have also added in that now when we disassemble buildings, not that I'm going to, but I'm just showing you where the button was, you would get all of the resources back from disassembling it. Previously, you would only get a small portion, but now we're going to get all the resources that we used when building it, so that is a nice little perk as well. They also added in for our villagers that they will, when we're trading with other places, so after you've liberated them, you can of course trade with them, is that it's going to respect our rules that we have set up and into our various storage containers as much as possible when it can.
There's always something.
They also updated our army menus, so here we go, to kind of look similar to the other menus that we have, so just for the look and feel aspect of it as well. And they made a couple other updates, so they changed the seed pouch and watering pot from 5x5 storage to 6x4. They changed the unused brick peat loot drops from the swamp camps to just be peat. And they have excluded a couple items without codex entries from deliveries, and they improved and fixed some localized languages as well. Some also good news that they've been working on. They did introduce the Granary and Vault. They are now supposed to be working, which is phenomenal. So previously, when you built the village vault, for example, your villagers would go to the vault to walk across the map and start putting stuff from your own village into there. So this is supposed to be fixed. I am looking forward to building both of these buildings now, so that will be awesome. Couple other updates that they made were there was a glitch that was happening, or I guess a bug rather, where arrows were disappearing after the hunter switched jobs to a different one, so they have fixed that. They added they fixed a codex entry for the canvas because it had the same one as the cured rope. They fixed stuttering caused by farms. And to round it out, I'm just going to list off some other interesting updates that they've made. So they have fixed where arrows were disappearing after the hunter switched a job to a different one, so that was a bug that was pretty annoying. They fixed the codex entry for canvas. It used to be the cured rope, so they fixed that. Workers were not able to mine very large rocks previously, so they have fixed that as well. They fixed cooked food being reserved by campfires as in-progress ingredients for burnt food. They fixed companions equipping broken items on a stock-up command. They fixed workers getting assigned to harvesting jobs that require a higher tier tool when only a lower tier tool is available. For clients in co-op, there was an issue where if you reconnected, you were unable to use a shovel, carpenter's hammer, or a hoe. So they have fixed that. So that was actually really annoying. So I'm glad to see that that is fixed. They fixed workers bringing wrong items to cauldrons instead of specific ones selected for a recipe. They fixed various quests that required killing an NPC getting stuck if the NPC died too early. They, of course, fixed the pickpockets quest and the safety first quest where it was getting stuck, so that was great because I know a lot of people are having issues with that. And lastly, they fixed the bloody prisoner quest despawning after the recruiting happened. So these are all the various updates and fixes that have happened here in BellWright for their July hot update. I'm excited again because they're constantly making some great improvements to this game. Let me know in the comments which one you thought was the best or what ones you are still waiting to see. I'd love to hear about that. I have a few that I would like to see as well. Anyhow, that is it for me. As always, I appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribes. So please click those buttons. And until next time, I hope you're enjoying BellWright and can't wait until the next update next month. See you then.